Financial assets are destined to become digital, just like every analog industry has become digital. And we want that value creation to happen in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries. One of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve. And so that is one of the things, that's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So that's one of the first things we're going to look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the concept of the sovereign wealth fund is a little separate, and you'd have to talk to Secretary Lutnick, or soon to be Secretary Lutnick, about that. The president said in his executive order in the first week that it's the policy of his administration to support the responsible growth and use of digital assets, blockchain technology, and related technologies across all sectors of the economy. And he established an executive branch working group for digital assets, which includes Secretary Besson at Treasury, Secretary Noem, soon to be confirmed Attorney General Bondi, Secretary Lutnick at Commerce, and all the other key administration officials that have an equity in crypto.
Today we saw crypto czar David Sacks give an update from the Trump administration on the future of crypto, as well as a Bitcoin strategic reserve. At a crypto press conference in Washington today, David Sacks affirms that a stablecoin bill is likely to be the first piece of crypto legislation on President Donald Trump's desk. With the provisions of this bill, it calls for issuers of more than $10 billion in stablecoins to be overseen by federal regulators. Sacks says this digital asset legislation will restore value in its creation to stay in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries. As the plan for crypto over the next 100 days unfolds, we also saw the SEC launch a crypto task force, one that will oversee the financial framework of digital assets, which is sure to make institutional investors bullish in the days and weeks ahead. Let's get right into the video as David Sacks lays out the Trump administration's plan for crypto and the Bitcoin strategic reserve and what we can expect in 2025. Drop your comments down below and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here.
Similarly, the SEC has set up a crypto task force led by Hester Peirce, which is also looking at this issue. And together, our objective is to accomplish the task the president assigned for us in his EO, which is to propose a federal regulatory framework governing the issuance and operation of digital assets, including stablecoins, in the United States. I've talked to many founders over the past few years, and they've told me repeatedly that the number one thing they need from Washington is regulatory clarity. They just want to know what the rules of the road are so they can abide by them. We're coming off, frankly, 4 years of arbitrary prosecution and persecution of crypto companies where the SEC wouldn't tell founders what the rules were, but then they would prosecute them. And many founders have even told me stories of being debanked personally just because they had founded a crypto company. All of this approach was driving this important technology of the future offshore, and we want to keep that innovation onshore in the US. Financial assets are destined to become digital, just like every analog industry has become digital, and we want that value creation to happen in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries. This will also, I should add, be much better for consumer protection because it's easier for regulators to supervise an activity when it's onshore. And it's probably not a coincidence that the single biggest fraud in the history of crypto, which was FTX, was based in the Bahamas. By moving the innovation onshore, it'll be easier to separate out the good actors from the bad actors. And we want to encourage the good actors, the innovators, while protecting the market from the bad actors. And I think a market structured legislation with clear definitions and fair rules will do that. I want to say additionally, we're excited about working with both the House and Senate on stablecoin legislation. I know Senator Hagerty introduced a bill today. This stablecoins really have the potential to ensure American dollar dominance internationally, to increase the usage of the U.S. dollar digitally as the world's reserve currency, and in the process create potentially trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries, which could lower long-term interest rates. So let me stop there, and I want to thank the chairman here today, Chairman Scott, Chairman Hill, Chairman Bozeman, Chairman Thompson. And I look forward to working with them as part of the administration to help turn President Trump's policy into reality. This was a week one priority for the administration, and we're excited that our counterparts in Congress are equally committed to ensuring American dominance in digital assets. I look forward to working with each of you. This is what we're here for, and I actually did a session even before the start of this Congress with Speaker Johnson. We did a great sort of open dialogue with members of the House in that case, and I think part of what we're here to do is provide resources on education. Some of them can be outside advisors, kind of luminaries in the industry, and we're talking to a lot of those people. And then, I'm also available anytime to talk to members about this. It can, crypto can be an esoteric subject, and it is good to explain it, to kind of demystify it, because I think once you understand that, you've kind of got the cryptocurrency itself, like Bitcoin, but then what it really runs on are blockchains, which are just distributed ledgers. It's really a new type of decentralized computing platform, and there's a lot of things that can be built on that computing platform. So in any event, we're happy here to provide those resources to help explain it, both on Capitol Hill and beyond, in ensuring that the U.S. remains at the forefront of innovation in digital assets. The president said in his executive order in the first week that it's the policy of his administration to support the responsible growth and use of digital assets, blockchain technology, and related technologies across all sectors of the economy. And he established an executive branch working group for digital assets, which includes Secretary Besson at Treasury, Secretary Noem, soon to be confirmed Attorney General Bondi, Secretary Letnick at Commerce, and all the other key administration officials that have an equity in crypto.
Bitcoin's price sits just over 98,100, up over 5% year to date. Sachs says it's the fastest pace of adoption of any investable asset in all of human history. By the end of 2025, there will be 1.1 billion active crypto wallets. The pace of growth is hard to comprehend, and it will be the fastest accumulation of wealth we have ever seen. This is the conclusion of a career's worth of research. And every single chart and piece of research leads to the same conclusion. Liquidity drives everything, and crypto will be the best performing asset of them all. With the provisions of this bill, it calls for issuers of more than $10 billion in stablecoins to be overseen by federal regulators. Sachs says this digital asset legislation will restore value in its creation to stay in the United States rather than giving it away to other countries.
Well, I was on the Hill today meeting with the leaders of our House and Senate committees for banking and for finance, and they are very committed to moving legislation through the House and the Senate this year in order to provide that clear regulatory framework that the digital assets ecosystem needs to sustain innovation in the United States. And so those chairmen, I think, are very committed. President Trump is committed, and I think we can do something here. But as you know, moving legislation through Congress takes time. But I think this is something we could do in the next 6 months. I guess it's possible that the Sovereign Wealth Fund could decide that they want to make Bitcoin or digital assets part of its portfolio. You're going to have to ask the incoming Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, about that. The item that President Trump asked our working group on digital assets to study is whether it's feasible to create either a Bitcoin reserve or some sort of digital asset stockpile. And so we're going to be looking at that question. We haven't committed yet to doing it, but it's one of the first things we're going to be looking at.
And more about just the difference in the scale of human impact between working in government and making investments and cuts there versus doing it with software or with hardware where some in Silicon Valley are more used to operating.
Well, I think it's quite amazing to bring software expertise to Washington. I mean, I'm seeing it here in my first few weeks that the systems that the government uses are so antiquated, they're so out of date. And so bringing people from the technology industry to Washington can only be a positive thing. It can only help us update those systems, be more modern, be more efficient. The government needs a lot more of that. And I think one of the things that's really exciting right now is that there is tremendous optimism in Silicon Valley, and there's tremendous support for President Trump in Silicon Valley. At this point, I don't know anyone who doesn't support President Trump's agenda and administration in Silicon Valley. And so I think it's actually been terrific to be able to involve a whole lot of new people in government from the technology industry. And I think it's going to bring a lot of innovation to Washington, which is sorely needed.
In this context, Bitcoin emerges as an alternative. detached from the manipulations of the conventional economic sphere. Sachs also highlights that established corporations like Apple, Amazon, and Google will use their established relationships acquired over decades to swiftly acquire substantial amounts of Bitcoin through a spot ETF, bypassing the cumbersome processes involved in procuring the actual commodity. This disparity underscores the transformative power of cryptocurrencies in traditional financial institutions, as the economic landscape is changing rapidly, and urges investors to leverage Bitcoin's potential to secure a more prosperous financial future. What do you think about the latest interview, and how do you think Bitcoin's trajectory in the coming months will impact the crypto market and the world of investing? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this.